So, what's hot? Oh, the dog days of summer are upon us. And I realized that it's been like a month or more since we did like an old news style video, which maybe you don't care about, but I enjoy them. I think it's kind of fun to do the slightly longer form content. And I honestly have been super slammed trying to get stuff done, which means I haven't been out like doing stuff as much. Or if I am out doing stuff, I'm not recording it because I'm too busy living my life. So we got an old news segment today. Yes! And we have coffee, which normally I'm a dark roast guy. And this is a much, much lighter roast. I'm not sure what I think about that. I think lighter roasts have more caffeine, which is a good thing, because I'm dragging ass. But also, it doesn't taste the same. So what do you do? Let's just jump right into the news. And we'll start, actually, in a slightly different place. This is just too cool. Oh man, I don't have my ad blocker running on this computer right now. Sadness. The only place that I know where to find photographic news of any kind is Petapixel, and we have here a large format camera badass / team, actually, photographing movie theaters. You know movie theaters? Like the place that you used to have to go to watch a movie because it wasn't out on VCR and you couldn't just stream it over the internet, which didn't exist yet. Sometimes you would dress up and go to the movies. Sometimes you would meet people on dates at the movies. The movies? Anyway, someone else remembers the good old days also, and they've made this incredible project where they're going around the US specifically photographing old movie theaters, which are freaking cool. Like, I don't know about you, modern movie theaters, kind of boring. These old school ones that these people have been photographing, like they show up, they turn on the lights. I'm sure there's a lot of work that goes into lighting these, but a lot of them aren't even movie theaters anymore, which is crazy. Like, okay, movie theater, yes, freaking epic, everything, probably great acoustics, basketball court. Like, oh, movie theater, probably terrible acoustics because the entire thing is cement. Gun range, sweet. Bus depot. Like, you can see, you can kind of get a feel for some of the grandeur that these places probably used to have and now just straight up don't. Because they don't get used anymore. At least not used like that. It's kind of a freaking shame to me. And I love that it was done in large format and clearly stopped way down. Like, these were probably very long exposures. And they probably didn't have to worry about anybody wandering through their shot or whatever. Like, as long as you get someone to open the doors for you, nobody else is going to be in the space, clearly. Check out the old projector setup. Frickin' epic. Probably the old fans to keep the projectors cool. Damn. I don't even know what happened here. That's crazy. Let's see. I'm pretty sure this is actually being put into a book, too. Oh, Texas. Yeah, you can buy it here. Let's go see. Bloop, 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 bloop. Oh, yeah, I love cookies. Thank you for all of them. I will accept them. $80 for a hard cover. This one's actually out of Deutschland somewhere. At least that's where I am. penguinrandomhouse.de. Cool. 36 by 28. That's a big ass book. I wonder if that's in centimeters. Yeah, that's freaking cool. Good for them. This is a sweet project. That's fun. And a little sad at the same time, which, you know what? That's what photography should be, right? Should be a little fun, a little sad. Anyway, that was fun. Moving on. Okay, so
is made.
Ribsy got to go to Intrepid. They're based in the UK, and he got to go check out their facility where they're making cameras, and you can see exactly how much suffering and human involvement actually goes into making each camera. Now, yes, they are doing them in batch, so they've specialized to the point where, like, you know, somebody's job is to just watch 3D printers all day, and somebody else's job is to literally assemble like the same part on every camera all day. But I love how small it is, how like it's almost like family oriented. He walks you through all of the little bits and bobs. You can see they're CNCing a bunch of stuff. It's cool. I like Intrepid cameras. The only thing I don't like about them is the way that the backs work. And I really only care about that on the 8x10s. And maybe that's just because I'm a spoiled brat about my 8x10 film holders. And who knows? Plenty of people use these cameras and are totally down to just like go with the flow. So I appreciate that. Let's just see here. Let's more. You know, they're just cruising, running these frames together. You can see them, like, you know, as he progresses through them. This is their ground glass machine, like sitting in the corner with a bunch of frickin' tiles on top of the glass as they just grind the living shit out of it. That's crazy. That's some homebrew shit. This is like, if I were to try and start a camera company, this is exactly what it would look like, except theirs is way better. Like, random clamps holding stuff together, just bins and boxes everywhere. You're faking it till you make it. It's a really cool video, 10 out of 10. I really loved the fact that he got to go do this. Super cool. Also, several of these videos ago, these old newses ago, there was a guy who got to go tour the Kodak Factory. That series is continued. It's finished now, actually. The Smarter Everyday channel. He's done them both. And, I mean, wow. Like, actually seeing the emulsion coating and everything else that goes into this process. And he's doing it kind of live. Like, you can't always necessarily stop and edit things, and especially not when you're in this massive manufacturing facility. This was really cool. It's you know, what are these, like an hour a piece, each of these 3 episodes? For sure worth a couple hours of your life to sort of understand what goes into making film and why some people think it's terrible for the earth. And I don't know, it's cool. You know, some people get a batch of film that's got like a minor defect or something goes wrong and they just throw a hissy fit. On the one hand, I can almost see where that comes from. On the other hand, like, there's so much that goes into this, and there's no way that if this facility and the technology didn't exist already, there's no way that any of this, like, nobody would bother doing it from scratch now. You know what I mean? So the fact that he gets to go tour this and like see what's going on and check out the entire facility, it's just super cool. So, you know, next time you have a couple hours to kill, put those on. You know, you and 33,000 of your closest friends. See what I did there? Where you like and subscribe when you like a video? Just a thought. Okay, so I did a video about putting out 16-bit tiffs for everything all the time. And some people asked, why bother? There's an article on Petapixel about what a tiff is and why you should do it and what the changes are like. Check it out, read it. I'm not the detail guy on this stuff, right? 16 bits, way more colors. TIFF is uncompressed, or if it's compressed, it's done in such a way that it's lossless. Just do it. Just do it. TIFF is your friend. It's good for you. Okay. For those of you with entirely too much money, there is a $110,000 large format camera that you can buy from Pagani. You may recognize Pagani because they make really, 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 really nice cars. I have no idea why Pagani and Ghibellini, Ghibellini, whoever these people are, would do a limited edition way over the top 8x10 camera, but I'm really happy that it exists. Also, look at the sex appeal of these bellows. Oh my gracious. I want an 8x10 with white bellows, please, and thank you. Look at that. Look at the machining on this. This is frickin' bonkers. It weighs 4.7 kilograms. I have no idea what that means in freedom units, but it probably weighs something. But who cares how much it weighs? Because if you're going to buy a $110,000 camera, you're going to have assistants to move it and to touch it with white gloves, and you're never going to have to deal with it yourself. Look at this little fucking Louis Vuitton style badass carrying case that I'm sure will never see the light of day for whoever buys this thing. Like, this is one of those, like, you buy it and then you set it up in your garage next to your Pagani because it looks pretty. That's like, who's gonna pay this kind of money for this camera, put a big ass beautiful lens on a, no joke, that is a carbon fiber lens board for sure, and then shoot it, take it out into the wild and actually use it. I mean, maybe it's the same people who actually buy those kinds of cars and then drive them to work. Those people exist. Anyway, you gotta buy it from Pagani. While you're there buying your $500,000 car, you might as well tack on the camera, right? Too bad it doesn't come with an assistant. I just thought that was the coolest shit. Like, little things where people make new cameras, and even if they're like super ridiculous out of my price range, whatever, I still like it. That's fun. Silver. Now, most people don't pay any attention at all to the price of silver. I've always sort of just followed it for grins, and it doesn't really change a whole lot until it really changes a whole lot. So here we are from 2012 to 2021. The price is going from about 15 bucks an ounce to, I mean, you know, as high as 32 almost dollars an ounce. Recently it's actually up above 25 bucks an ounce. And this article is showing you which industry is responsible for how much of that growth. Photography is this heinous maroon color. So no, photography is not responsible for the global demand of silver. Like, you could pretty much just look at that and be like, yep, we account for a very, very small percentage of that. Part of that's probably because there really isn't all that much silver in film and paper. Like, they put as little silver into that stuff as they can get away with. One, because heavy metals are scary, and two, because, well, it's expensive. Especially when silver's up here, you know, the height of photography need for silver, you know, is like, whatever, 2020, mid-COVID, when the price, of course, skyrockets. And so I'm sure that filmmakers, paper makers are just now recovering from that. Maybe that's part of why we had such redonkulous price hikes. Maybe because silver was up. Anyway, that's interesting. You know that when silver hits $40 an ounce, all photographs will be melted down for their silver content. I mean, you could take like a print and melt it down, and you'd probably get some silver out of it. Puberty's hard, guys. Okay, I only have one thing left to talk about in the news. So, a period of time ago, I did a video about an analog photography conference that we were hoping to participate in. Instead of that, the conference has been canceled. There's just too much going on. It takes too much work to put like an actual conference together. And Durango, Colorado, while not being the middle of nowhere, is not Joshua Tree, which is like an hour outside of LA. A couple hours outside of LA, right? So instead, I've spoken with Todd and, well, you know what? Rather than me telling you here, let me just let Matt from the past in Durango tell you. So we'll just cut to him. Okay.
What's up, Internet? My name is Matt, and this is not Hidden Light. I am in gorgeous downtown Durango, Colorado. Been kind of cruising around, just getting some R&R this weekend. And I met up with Todd, who you may remember from a previous video, who was going to put on this thing called the Analog Photography Conference. Well, that's not happening anymore, for reasons. But that kind of bummed me out. Like, I was really looking forward to hanging around in Durango during the change in the aspens, the fall color. So basically, he and I met up last night, and instead of doing a conference, we're gonna think of it more like a meetup. So his conference is gonna be a separate thing. They'll do that someday. I'm gonna do a photo meetup weekend. Same weekend that it was originally gonna be happening, which unfortunately is the same weekend of PDN, Photo Plus in New York, which means none of the cool vendors can be there, which means you can't really put on like a proper conference, you know, with vendors and speakers and stuff. So instead of that, I figure we'll just hang out. Anybody who wants to come can come. It's free. So it'll be that same weekend, whatever that is, like the 26th or the 29th or something. I don't even remember what it is. The weather's supposed to be great. It's like peak fall color, typically, here in Durango. And we'll do like 2 photo walks a day, or a photo walk and a beers and cameras meetup or something. I haven't finalized everything yet, but I think it's gonna be fun. The Hidden Light crew will come, and we'll all hang out and take pictures together. And if you would like to join us in analog photography goodness, you should. You know, it'll be fun. I'm just wandering around Durango, and I'm about to get out of here. Actually, I've been here all weekend, and it's time to go back to Flagstaff, back to the lab, and get back to work. Anyway, yeah, we'll see you in Durango at the end of October for a free photo walk, meetup, nerdgasm, non-conference, non-symposium. I don't know what to call it. What should we call it? Let me know in the comments down below.
Okay, so I missaid some things in the past. September 30th through October 2nd, I'm going to be in and around Durango. We've got a web page that doesn't exist as of me recording this, but will exist while you're sitting there. It's going to be hiddenlightllc.com/meetup. And that will include all of the things that I know to include. I think we're going to do a morning shoot every day somewhere, and then a B&C or cocktails and cameras or whatever somewhere in and around Durango for each of those couple of days. And then Sunday, we'll have no evening event. It'll be like a morning shoot if you want, and then lunch, and then everybody goes home. I'm going to be based out of Durango, assuming that there are no crazy events happening that weekend. I'm just going to get myself a hotel room downtown and, you know, hang out. This is going to be open to everyone. There will be a little like, yes, I'm coming link on the webpage. If you could fill that out, that would be great. Just let us know who you are, how many people you're going to be, because some events, which will remain unnamed, don't tell bars that they're showing up, and then they show up with 100 people, and the bars really don't like that. So what I'm going to try and do is, if we actually get anybody showing up to this besides like me and my mom, then we'll tell the bars like, hey, we're going to have 30 people. Do you mind if we come take over an area? We're photographers. We like to drink, whatever. So yeah, there's a guy, Todd, who lives there, and he's going to give us the hookups on the cool places to shoot in the general area. I'm going to try and keep it like within an hour of town, generally speaking. There's all kinds of cool stuff to do out there, and it's going to be pretty, and it's going to be cold. So bring your hoodie and your jacket and your hat, because mountains, Colorado, fall time, yeah, you get cold fast. Anyway, that is the news, and whatever middle segment you usually would have here was just me in the past. That's it. Let's jump into FAQs. But first I gotta go look for some. So give me just 30 seconds. Okay, go. Okay, now time for some FAQs, better known as back. Don't have a whole lot of FAQs this month, because not a lot of you have been asking a lot of questions in the comments. So if you have questions, put them in the comments, because it's cool. I'm into it. Let's see. Some people saying nice things. Thank you for things. This person, Divya, is it true? So I have an old video about flying with film, X-rays and CT scanners, and she's asking, is it still a problem for Polaroid films under 800 ISO? TSA will tell you that it doesn't matter, and that who cares, and that why are you making me hand check your film, you mean nasty passenger. And I have started now just asking for a hand check on all film all the time for 35, and when it's wound up and tightened really well for 120. Polaroids, I would ask to hand check as well, because it's in a cassette and it's like it reasonably easy for them to pull out and go, okay. If it gets CT scanned, you're going to be SOL, probably. But at the same time, if it gets X-rayed, it probably won't be a huge deal. My new favorite game, rather than hand checking film both ways and relying on myself to remember to have it hand checked, is just to ship film to and or from wherever I'm going to be. Like if I'm not driving, say I was doing a trip to New York, I would just go to B&H and pick up some film. The next time I go to Kauai, I'm not going to hand check my film both ways. I'm going to ship some to wherever I'm going to be staying. The front desk at the hotel will hold on to your package for you. And when you show up, your film will be there. It won't have been X-rayed or CT scanned, and you won't have had to cuss out any TSA agents. Negotiate with any TSA agents about having your film dealt with properly. I have heard stories from people recently flying with film that it's getting more difficult. So there's that. Scary stuff. Michael Keith is of the opinion that digital medium format is better than film. I agree with you, and I disagree with you. Digital has its place. Digital medium format for sure has its place. But sometimes film is better. Say you want a 6x6, 6x7, or 6x9 sensor. Say you need that Bocalicious Bocaroni. Totally a word. Say you need the old school lenses that you can't necessarily mount on your digital medium format body. You know, they both have their uses. Granted, if I was like a working professional photographer, I would probably shoot very little film. The film thing comes in a lot more in the fine art side than the commercial side these days. That's all. That's all I have to say about that. Let's see. What's the deal with your camera back hack? I like that. It would be cool if Intrepid made a bail back for their 8x10. Okay, so my Intrepid camera, as you may have seen in my various videos, I hacked it together just a little. I took off the Intrepid back because it doesn't allow my film holders to slide in and out easily. It actually requires so much force with the film holders that I happen to have that I invariably change the composition, sliding the damn things in and out, which I don't want to do. So I put a back from a Calumet 8x10 on it. I originally, I drilled out, countersunk, and figured out a way that I could use the original Calumet screws to go into this camera back. But neither the Intrepid back nor the Calumet back are flat. They don't sit flush, they sit like this, which allows light in. It kind of looks like that. And so what I use instead are the beautiful A clamps you see every time I pull that camera out now, which lets me remove the back from the camera, set it aside, whatever, remove it to change the orientation, great. And I don't have to worry about dealing with all the factory screws and stuff. It's a little ghetto fabulous, but it works. The A clamps also give me a spot to kind of like, not quite hook on, but rest my dark cloth, which is just a whatever cheap curtain, which means that I'm not pulling on the camera quite so bad, and it lets me kind of put the dark cloth up onto the camera if I want to without screwing stuff up a little bit. It's ghetto. I'm sure if Intrepid ever sees it, they'll scoff and or cry, but it works great for me. I like being able to use the Calumet. I don't even know what the handle lever thing is called on the back of that camera, to be able to then use it normally and very gently slide my film holders in and out. It just seems better. You know, the springs on those 8x10 backs are frickin' for real. At least for Intrepid. So that is why I use that system. Someday I'll have a proper... Okay, so I own a Calumet, right? Because I have that back, but it weighs 20 pounds on its own. The Intrepid only weighs like 6 pounds. So if I take the Intrepid with a slightly added weight on the back, it's a lot easier for everyone. Everyone being me and my assistants, which is just me. Let's see. Eric chimed in from my video last weekend, or whatever weekend it was, shooting film in the desert. That whole rock structure, like you can see the bathtub line on it, how much of it is usually underwater. Like that whole area we were hanging out is usually underwater. And so that's one of the reasons we went out there, is because I've been there a lot while that was like a lake, where instead of driving down there, we would have been swimming down there. And I don't know if Powell's ever going to fill again. I don't know what these poor southwestern states are going to do about their water management aside from suffer, but it's still novel to me to be able to go out there and experience that as lake bed, you know, as beach that you can drive and walk on rather than somewhere you would swim. So that's one of the reasons we went there. It's pretty cool. Okay, silver gelatin versus platinum palladium. We got a couple of comments on those. Is there a way to get a different finish on platinum prints, or is it all matte all the time? I've read about people using silver gelatin Barida paper, which is a gloss finish, to make platinum prints. In order to do this, from my reading, I've not tried this, you have to take your piece of paper, fix out all the silver, having done no development, wash it, dry it, and then double coat it in platinum emulsion before making your proper platinum chemical, whatever, everything else. So it's a series of extra additional steps on the front end. I'm gonna try it, but it's gonna hurt. I think it's gonna be a little terrible. I'm really excited about the prospect of having gloss platinum prints. I think that's frickin' cool. Right now, the only way I've ever seen to achieve gloss and platinum is to varnish them. I've done some experimentation with that that did not turn out well. It looked icky. Real bad. So I think that's something to chase down. Similar, Terrence asked if you had used a digital negative to control contrast and printed it neutral, how close would it have looked to silver? About the same as it does now. There's a series of prints I did back to back, same negative, one silver, one platinum. Straight up, the blacks and platinum are not gonna get that deep. It's just, with a matte finish paper, you're just stuck with like a Dmax of like 1.4 to 1.5. When you go to gloss, you're instantly in the Dmax of like 2-ish range. So a lot deeper of a black. It doesn't matter if you use a digital negative or not. The system is just, the process itself limits how deep the blacks will go. Somebody commented on our plastic camera video that they want to see some results. The next What We're Printing video that I do will have more plastic camera results. I just finally got a chance to slam through the Kodak half frame camera, and I put 72 photos through that. And then I've also shot the super wide angle Rito 22mm. And I've put plenty of film through other various plastic cameras. I'm starting to learn where they shine and what they need. And we'll do a series of prints just from those cameras. Because they're cool. There's a vibe, right? Like this plastic, the most recent one I did was the Rito 22mm ultra wide angle. It's soft, but the film that I had in it is even softer. So that didn't help me. Taking a soft lens and giving it a really gnarly, grainy film like Kent Mirror 400, which is so grainy it's almost soft on its own, did me no favors. I'm gonna try and do the same thing again with HP5 or Tri-X, like a reasonably modern film stock that's not student level grainy, and see if I can get a different result out of it. But even the soft, grainy, crunchy shit that I got, I'm super stoked on. Like, honestly, I fell in love with that camera a little bit, and it's gonna be part of my permanent collection, and not just because it's pink, although I like that too. I do like the color pink, I'm here for it. So there will be more plastic camera stuff. Like, yes, I'm hanging out in 8x10 land all the way over here, but it's also fun to hang out in shitty plastic camera land all the way over here. It's the middle ground that everybody else lives in that I'm just not interested in right now. So, yeah. Someone commented a month ago about how I had a bunch of blank film hanging up because we just done the film run that day. That happens a lot. Most of the people who are having their film done by us are students or just getting into film for the first time or testing out new cameras, and we average a certain number of blank rolls every week. It's just the name of the game. The great thing is we're small enough that we can then invite them, once we've seen their blank roll, to come back into the shop, bring their camera. We can say, okay, let's help you load this together. Let's see why this happened. Let's teach you the pro tip for making sure your 35mm film is being shot. You remember that one? There's a video somewhere. I can't say enough about that pro tip because it saved me a zillion times. Anyway, yeah. I looked on Discord just briefly and I didn't see any new like interesting questions. So yeah, but there is a Discord server, link in the description down below, where you can join us and chat about photo stuff. I'm probably gonna make a new channel for the meetup experience or for meetups in general and put some information there as well. There will be that webpage, also link in the description down below with information. I don't know how much information there's really going to be. Like, come to hang out in Durango, Colorado, September 30th through October 2nd-ish. Let's hang out and be friends, you know? Shit. I'm not, like, producing this. I'm just gonna go, and if anybody else wants to show up, cool. And if not, it'll just be me and my wife. Which is great, too. All right. I think that's all I got today, man. It's, like, time for me to drink more coffee or take a nap or both. Is it beer o'clock yet? See you in the next one.